Thank you, Rick. All right, well, the TSA, once again, extending the mask requirement on public transportation until April 18th due to, quote, CDC recommendations. Now, a group of 10 pilots across 3 different airlines are suing the CDC, claiming federal officials adopted the policy despite the latest science showing that face masks are ineffective. Here now are 2 commercial pilots who are part of this lawsuit, Janviere Carlin and Chris Sims. I'm going to start with you, Janviere. Tell me first how wearing a mask impacts your ability to do your work.
Well, good morning, and thanks for inviting us on. Most people would initially imagine that it has to do with the actual wearing of the mask itself, but our purpose as a group of pilots is actually much deeper than that and more administrative. The mandate itself has put us in a precarious situation where we are forced to choose between adhering to the mandate or adhering to the federal aviation regulations. The regulations haven't changed for us for this entire pandemic. They have outlined everything that's required for us for all of our licenses and certificates, including our medical certification. And all of these things are completely explained and highlighted in our regulations. So the mask mandate itself, the exemption section explicitly says who is exempt under the mandate itself, and it includes our profession is regulated by the federal aviation regulations, and the CDC is not able to assert its authority over us by virtue of the TSA, which is also not allowed to exert its authority over us. So it's more of an administrative issue for us. The masking itself is a secondary issue, and it's a pretty big problem as well. Air rage, and not to mention the physiological effects on pilots, and none of this has been studied.
Right.
So we're definitely in a rough position in that respect.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, actually, the amount of money that we as a country have spent on COVID, and that we don't have studies on how it affects, for example, a pilot wearing it for that many hours flying, how it affects children, and we're masking them up. We still are in many states, so that's a really fair point. Chris, why did you want to go the lawsuit route? So a lot of people are speculating that maybe President Biden might take down the mandate in a couple months. You say you want the lawsuit so it doesn't come, so we know that they never can do this again. Is that correct?
Right. I mean, this thing, we don't want it to come back, and particularly with our profession as pilots. This next April or next November, the flu or whatever will come back. They'll say, "Hey, you need to wear the mask."
Right.
This mask affects us differently in our job. We don't live and work in the normal environment that most people do. We're at high altitude, under high stress, lots of responsibility, lots of decisions have to be made, and the FAA requires us to be in tip-top condition, and therefore they have we're the owners of our medical, and basically what pilots are trying to do is protect our medical. There have been no studies with wearing a mask, and as such, everybody's a little different. Everybody's affected differently by this new element that's introduced there, and we feel like this is a safety issue for the flying public.
Yeah, it certainly is a safety issue. It also makes traveling, which has become, less enjoyable ever since 9/11, even more less enjoyable. So it's an issue all the way around, safety and so forth. I hope you win your lawsuit. We all want to be free from these mask mandates, and we appreciate you stepping forward and doing that on behalf of so many Americans.
All right, thank you.
You got it.
Yeah, thank you.
The CDC has not replied to Fox's request for comment, and we want to thank you, Janviere Carlin and Chris Sims. Again, the final hour of Fox and Friends starts right now.